Colston Loveland slicing through defenders in preseason. Luther Burden bulldozing lanes for touchdowns. Kyle Monangai already flashing bursts against Miami. Those names have dominated Chicago's summer headlines. But suddenly Olin Kreutz, a man whose judgment still carries the weight of Soldier Field history, looked past the hype and pointed to a forgotten sixth-rounder, Luke Newman. And that is the kind of revelation that can flip a fan base on its head. Because when a Bears legend raises his hand and says, "Watch this kid," you know something bigger is brewing than just another preseason highlight reel. You feel the pulse of potential history humming under the surface. And you wonder if this franchise just unearthed another unlikely gem in the trenches. Newman started at left guard against Buffalo when Joe Thuney sat, then shifted seamlessly to the right side. And even with a holding call pinned on him, one replay showed it was weak at best. He looked like he belonged. He looked like a guy who refuses to be forgotten. And that's where the tension builds. Because we've seen how often late-round linemen become the soul of a great unit. How 85 was carved out by toughness in the dirt. How 06 had a line that made Grossman look competent. How even in the heartbreak of 2018, it was the trenches that set the stage for Cody Parkey's infamous miss. Newman didn't allow a single pressure against Miami. He's already playing with the kind of technique and balance that gets veterans nodding. And if Kreutz is nodding too, that's no throwaway compliment. That's the sound of alarm bells ringing in Detroit and Green Bay. Because a Chicago line that holds together suddenly changes the math for the entire NFC North. And you can feel it in your chest when you picture Fields with an extra second in December to find DJ Moore downfield. Or Caleb Williams dropping back in 2 years behind a wall that never cracks. This is where it gets dangerous, because Bears fans have learned to fear the optimism that grows in August, to recognize that every preseason breakout could dissolve into regular season pain. And yet when you see a rookie shift from left to right, guard with the calm of a 10-year pro, you can't help but wonder if this is one of those rare times where hope is justified, where a sixth-rounder plays with the discipline of a veteran and the hunger of a street fighter. Newman isn't flashy. His scouting report read undersized, steady, dependable. And those labels usually bury a guy before he ever plays a snap. But maybe that's why this feels different. Because every block he lands is a reminder that sometimes the overlooked pieces become the keystones. And if that's true, then every rival defensive line better start circling his number in film study. And here's the wrinkle that will split Bears Nation. Is he just a preseason darling? The kind of player who looks good against vanilla fronts? Or is he the next Olin Kreutz himself? A grinder who turns respect into legacy one snap at a time? That's the emotional roulette we're all spinning right now. Remembering the agony of Orlovsky running out the back of the end zone in '08 and how far we fell from relevance, but also remembering how in 2010 a line no one trusted carried U.S. to the NFC Championship, one game from the Super Bowl, and asking if Newman could be the modern echo of that story. Reviews say he's versatile, disciplined, smart, and if you squeeze that out of a sixth rounder, it's not just a win, it's depth. It's like finding a diamond in the asphalt outside Hollis Hall, and you can't ignore how much that could change Chicago's ceiling in 2024. But that's not the part that will keep you up tonight, because if Newman locks down a role, it forces a ripple effect across the roster. It pushes veterans to the edge, reshuffles the depth chart, maybe even makes the front office reconsider future draft priorities, and what happens next could alter how this team spends its cap in the years ahead. Imagine a line where Newman, still learning, suddenly becomes the plug-and-play option in late December against the Packers with the division on the line. Imagine him standing over a crumpled rusher as Fields scrambles loose for a dagger touchdown. Imagine the roar echoing from the lake to the loop as Bears fans realize a kid no one wanted is the difference between another lost season and something worth believing in again. And that's the cliff we're staring over now. Is Luke Newman just another August mirage? Or is this the moment the Bears' future quietly shifted without us even realizing it? If you're feeling that jolt of belief pulsing through your veins right now, Bears Nation, smash that like in your heart, because this is where the story takes its sharpest turn. Because Luke Newman isn't just a late-round rookie. getting pats. On the back from a legend, he's the kind of player who might rewrite the entire DNA of this offensive line. And that means the entire arc of this season tilts on whether his rise is real or fleeting. Think about it. In Miami, he pitched a perfect stat line. 0 pressures, clean pocket, no rookie jitters. And then a week later in Buffalo, he's sliding left to right, like he's been doing this for years, anchoring rush lanes for Burden and keeping the rhythm alive for Loveland. And if that's not the definition of plug-and-play value, then what is? And yet, here's the danger that keeps gnawing Bears history, is littered with flashes that faded, with August promises that September swallowed whole. From Kevin White's training camp buzz that never saw the light of day to the countless linemen who were supposed to be the fix but vanished under real pressure. This is where it gets thrilling, because if Newman holds, if Kreutz's eye for talent is vindicated once again, then we're not talking about a luxury depth piece. We're talking about a linchpin who allows Ben Johnson to scheme with confidence. Who gives Justin Fields, or whoever lines up under center, the luxury of patience? And suddenly that split second becomes the window that turns. Checkdowns into bombs and 3-yard dives into gallops through daylight. But here's the twist that should keep you restless. Newman's success doesn't just affect his own career. It reshapes the roster, forces questions about veterans who thought their jobs were safe, puts pressure on Poles and the front office to rethink how they build around a young core, and maybe, just maybe, changes how this team is perceived across the division. Imagine the December showdown at Lambeau, bitter cold biting the night, Packers front coming heavy, and Newman's 6th round nobody stones their blitz, giving Fields the breath to sling the ball into the frozen dark for the touchdown that flips the North. That's the vision hiding inside these preseason snaps, and that's why the stakes feel so damn high. This is the heartbeat of Chicago football, overlooked, doubted, underestimated until the moment when grit becomes glory. And right now, Newman embodies that better than anyone else in navy and orange. But let me lay it out raw. My gut says this. Kid isn't smoke. He isn't just August shine. He's the kind of grinder that Bears football has always thrived on. The kind of name you don't see coming until he's standing in the middle of a December dogfight holding the line against chaos. And I'll tell you straight, as a fan who's lived every heartbreak from '85 glory to 2018 double doink, I would rather roll the dice on a player like Newman, disciplined, overlooked, hungrier than hell, than trust another overpaid veteran who's just holding the spot. So I'll ask you, Bears Nation, would you bet your faith on a 6th-round rookie to carry the weight of this team's future? Or will you sit back and let history decide if we just watch the birth of the next Bears legend?